Ta must think that we're stupid. All of us. Every single one. He is now re-releasing his highlighters. And I kind of feel like I want to hear him discuss why that was needed. What? Just... can we let the audience know? Welcome to this week's new makeup releases, where ABH is launching Ashy Bronzers, Patrick Ta has truly lost the plot, and my own brand Singe Beauty is running a sale. Also, I am going to be discussing towards the end of the video just a brief, like, my thoughts on the series and the future. And if you're interested in that, if you're a longtime viewer of the series, stay towards the end of the video and we'll just have a quick little chat, like a heart-to-heart about the series, the future of it, and what I'm thinking. So I'll save that towards the end of the video. Okay, let's talk about Patrick Ta first. Patrick Ta is re-releasing the highlighters. Okay, let me scooch to the side so that we can talk about the fact that these highlighters that I think was released last year. I think me and every creator, every makeup purchaser and their mama and their mama's dog put these highlighters on the worst of 2024, like the list makeup. I had it, everybody had it, because this highlighter that he released was goopy. It was like, it's a duo. It's a cream, which is like a glitter Vaseline, and then it is a powder highlighter, which was... a lot of people were having problems with hard pan. I didn't use this highlighter enough to get hard pan because, quite honestly, I hated this highlighter, but it was also very subtle. So you had like a very subtle powder highlighter that I honestly myself didn't hate. And then you had this really goopy Vaseline thing that was sticky. It lifted everything. It just looked... the only reason it looked highlighty on the skin is because it was actual like Vaseline oil, petroleum on your skin. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, nobody liked this, but I am finding I have a hard time imagining a person that bought this and they were like, wow, this is great. And I also have heard though that there have been some inconsistencies, because there have been people who have said that their cream highlighter was actually not a goopy Vaseline mess. So that's also, I guess, a problem. But let's roll the TikTok. Oh my god, the delusion that's going on. Let's roll the TikTok from Patrick Ta.
Imagine the day they see you again. And you are just, well, better.
So here's the thing. I wanna hear him address why these were like discontinued. Because these were launched and discontinued within a span of a year, which, if you didn't know, is extremely unusual. Kosas did it with their lip liner because it went bad, and I know that Patrick Ta did it with their highlighters. I'm sure there are other brands that have done it as well, but this is one of those things that only happens when a product is truly faulty. Like, it's a bad product, it needs to be removed, and Sephora removed this from their website with a swiftness. And so many people have been complaining about this product, wanting to get their money back, wanting to get a replacement. And I am excited to see, because this brand has been in a lot of hot water. Products are getting moldy, products are overpriced, products are, I mean, faulty. This was a badly formulated product. And again, I don't want to come off as like, oh my god, I know everything, because I really truly do not. But this formulation came off as someone seeing the first sample and just being like, that's good enough. I have been gotten like samples sent to me. I own my own makeup brand, and I'm truly like looking at the samples and I'm like, this is what you send me? After we've talked about what I'm looking for, this is what I'm getting. And I can only imagine that the highlighters that were released, I don't think that there is a universe where a professional makeup artist looks at that and is like, people are gonna love this. Because I truly cannot imagine Patrick Ta feeling that duo highlighter, knowing what's on the market, because again, he is a big makeup artist, knowing what's on the market and say, yes, this is as good as it gets. It is giving approving the first sample to get this on the market energy. That's what it's giving. Saying that it's back and better than ever is just literally saying nothing at all. The bar is in hell. I can open my window and throw out a rock and hit a highlighter with better quality than the original Patrick Ta highlighter. So I mean, how can it be worse? Unless you're sending me an actual tub of Vaseline with glitter on the side where I can mix them together, anything's better. Literally anything is better. I decluttered my highlighter, but I did save a couple of things that I decluttered for reference, and now I'm wondering if I saved that one, because I'm like, did I save that one? Because it would be an amazing for me to compare, because I want to try the new one and see where are we at in comparison. I need to go through and see if I have this one, because truly, I mean, I gotta say, it takes some bravery to just come on and be like, ta-da, my highlighters are back and better than ever, when the whole internet agreed that that was one of the worst products that's been like released this side of the millennia. Bravery. I also quickly wanted to announce that we are going to be having a little summer sale with Cinch Beauty, which is my own beauty brand. If you've never checked out Cinch Beauty, I will link them down below. This is going to be the first time that we do a midsummer sale. If you didn't know, I'm Swedish and I have been living in Texas for the past, is it? I think this is my 4th year, if I'm not mistaken, and we are planning to move back to Europe next year, but I wanted to celebrate my Swedish roots, and my friend Ali Dawson gave me the idea, why don't you do a midsummer sale with Cinch Beauty? So if you use the code midsummer20, you will get 20% off the Cinch Beauty website until midnight Central Time on Sunday. Just a quick little summer weekend sale to celebrate that Sweden is celebrating the longest day of the year, so if you were wanting to stock up or try something from Cinch Beauty, this might be the time. I don't do a lot of sales on my website, so if you have been waiting for one, this might be the time. I'm also so excited about the things that I have planned for the future. I cannot wait to show you everything that I am working on. Speaking of, like, I've been getting some wild samples though. Somewhere I'm like, truly? This is what you thought I wanted? So check that out in the description box down below. All the things that I'm going to be talking about are going to be linked in the description box. I'll also pop some things up in YouTube Shopping. So if you're interested in seeing more about the things that I'm talking about, check out the description box for more info. Let's also talk about what's on my eyes right now, because I am actually wearing the new Artitude Cosmetics. Is it Arcana or Arcana? I'm not 100% sure. This palette, I will say, I think this one is launching today as you're watching this. You can use my code Angeshka at Artitude Cosmetics. This palette it has a little bit of an almost muted grayish undertone, which doesn't 100% jive with my undertone. I do have a little bit more of a warm golden undertone. And this one, some of the mattes, I did have a little problem getting it to jive and work together the way that I wanted it to. I've only used it once though, so this isn't like a review, but I wanted to give you a heads up. I am gonna be having a video with this one. I'm doing one of those like several palettes, several looks. It's hopefully live next week. I'm gonna have the Glaminatrix palette. I'm gonna have this one. I think I have another fun new palette heading as well, but there's gonna be a couple of things. So this one is in there. I think this is perfect if you like this color story and you like something that is a little bit more muted, cool toned, slightly that grayish undertone that I know a lot of people love. But if you are like me and you don't, I would say maybe look at a couple of reviews or swatches before you make up your mind, just so you don't end up getting something that you don't love. I also did try out the highlighters. I am wearing that today. I don't know if you can see it here. This one has a gray cast, and in the video I do try to wipe it off because I don't personally love these as highlighters on me. They gave me a gray cast. They were just too much. For me, they felt like an eyeshadow made into a highlighter pan, and it just wasn't my favorite. I hate saying that indie makeup isn't my favorite because my heart beats for indie makeup and I love indie makeup, but I also need to be truthful with you because that's the whole point of me like reviewing and trying and giving my thoughts on makeup. And I will say I love a lot of things from Artitude Cosmetics. This wasn't my personal favorite due to mainly like preferences. Oh my god, we need to talk about the new ABH bronzers as well. This launch is messy. Oh my gosh. First of all, they're also launching a hydrating SPF primer, which is not something that I want to try. I don't want a hydrating primer. That's not my thing, honestly. So I'm gonna skip that. And instead I'm using this one right now, the One Size SPF spritz, like the spray. And this is just an extra step with some SPF that is a mattifying setting spray. That works so much better for me with an oily combo skin. But if you're looking for an SPF hydrating primer, maybe this is for you. We also did talk about the those like cream blush trios last week. Oh my god, I cannot find my words. Again, I haven't fully decided if this is for me or not, but the bronzers, people are up in arms about those. So the picture you're seeing here are the bronzers and the primer. Again, the blushes we talked about last week, if you want to hear my thoughts about them. These are giving casket ready. And I've looked at these on, they're available as like coming soon on Ulta and on Sephora. And the undertones do not match what I'm seeing either on Ulta or on Sephora. They're like warm golden undertone. And I'm like, do I like need a stronger prescription in my glasses? Am I living in an alternate universe? Like, I'm not seeing that at all. These look so gray and it's just baffling. So I will say, I'll put up this picture instead. And this is the picture from ABH. And this picture looks much better. And ABH owner, who is Anastasia, she did say in the comments that the product pictures from Sephora, because a lot of these brands like Sephora, Ulta, they'll take their own product photography so everything matches and put on the site. And she was saying in the comments that the product photography from Sephora didn't match the actual product. And there could be something to that, because even though this picture doesn't make it look super like warm either, this is giving more a range of neutral bronzers in my opinion. This is giving something that is like, okay, this could be like a neutral bronzer range, which is what a lot of people are looking for. I'm thinking like the Benefit Hoola, for example. And a lot of people think that brands have authority to decide how pictures are going to look on Sephora and Ulta and places like that. And even me, I have 2 resellers where I sell my own brand, which is I Feel Beautiful in Canada. People are asking me, is this an official reseller? Yes, I Feel Beautiful in Canada and Monolith in the EU. So both of those places, I don't think Monolith takes their own pictures. I just think that they photoshops another background on my pictures, the ones that I provide from my photographer. But I do know that I Feel Beautiful do take their own product photography, and I have no say over those. And I do think that there could be a point to what, because Anastasia was saying in the comments to this at Trend Mood post that she was like feeling sad. Let me see if I can actually find the comment. The comment is saying, these are not the real life colors. They look so ashy in these pictures. You have to see them in stores. They are gorgeous. Which, again, I don't think that they are able to tell Sephora, hey, these pictures look awful. You should really take new pictures. But maybe it is something to it, because again, I do think that they look better in the pictures that Anastasia, ABH themselves have taken. I don't know what to say about that. It does make me intrigued to go in and look at them myself in store, for sure. Because the pictures, again, let's go back to the picture that Sephora has. These look awful. They look so gray. And it does make you wonder, so what's the real thing? And I do think that this is where creators and just people on PR lists come in handy, because they are able to show you how they look on their skin tone. Does it work on a warmer skin tone? Does it work on a darker skin tone? Because these pictures here, for me, this looks like Halloween makeup. But it is a fascinating discussion to have. Should a brand be able to tell a retailer, hey, these pictures make our products look awful. I need you to retake them. Or should you just, I don't know, take what you can get, basically. I find it fascinating. I would love to hear your thoughts about this as well. But I will probably pick this one up. There is one that is a medium with a warm golden undertone. That sounds amazing to me. I would not be able to pick that out from this range if my life depended on it, because which one of these seem like a warm with a golden undertone? gun to my head, I would not be able to tell you. These are going to be $38 each. They're coming soon. And listen, this is an ongoing story. I'm interested to see what happens. Speaking of complexion products, we've also seen the new foundation from Benefit. Benefit has had a couple of tries. I don't know if this is like third time's the charm, but I am pretty sure that Benefit has tried to release complexion products a couple of times and people have not loved it. They haven't loved the formula, they haven't loved the shade range, and for being a global brand, one would think that they would be able to afford a better shade range. I do think though that this looks like a pretty good shade range. I love the bottle, it looks really cute, and I think I'm gonna try this one out. This says it visibly smooths skin and blurs pores, medium buildable coverage, natural matte finish, 24-hour long wear, waterproof, transfer proof, with niacinamide, rose hip extract, and glycerin, which are all products that my skin loves. So I'm interested to see. I will definitely be trying this one out. I did buy, I'm turning into my husband, you know, starting a couple of different stories and then nobody can keep up. I bought the new highlighter from Benefit. A while ago, I said that I thought one of the new trends was going to be highlighters, and I feel like it's coming into fruition. I feel like we're starting to see so many highlighters, and I am so excited, and I kind of want to almost do like a showdown. New highlighters, yay or nay, which ones are the best, and I cannot wait to try this one out. I also bought the new NARS one. I am nothing if not curious, but I'm interested in this foundation. I haven't seen it at any retailer yet, but if we can find it somewhere, we'll put it down below. I'm gonna pop up this picture here. This is from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Their first of like April Fool's joke was that they were releasing a poop inspired palette. But people were so excited about this palette that it kind of actually inspired them to just do the palette. Did I just say actually 3 times in that sentence? Possibly. Possibly. So this is the Tones of Turd palette reveal, and this should be up for pre-orders in 2 weeks. You can use my code and Jessica and get some money off on this one. I feel like it's just a really nice like grungy green kind of a palette. I do think I'm getting this one in PR. I am excited to try this. I mean, not able to tell, but I love a grungy green, warm green, yellow, mustard moment. I love those tones. I'm super excited. But if you were wanting to see that April Fool palette come into fruition, it's happening now. There's also been a reveal of the mystery palette from Unearthly Cosmetics, and they are releasing this palette. I think it is up for pre-order now. It is the Shadowsculpt Ghoul Garden. This is the 2025 mystery palette for the green lovers, and there are some available for pre-order that are shipping in July. I think this is a really fun palette because it has those, again, grungy greens, mustards, golds, but then a couple of like cool tones, almost like a pop of like a cool tone green and then a mint in there as well. I did not pick this one up, and it's simply because I'm traveling with my husband in July. We are taking our yearly family vacation, and this time we're actually taking it over our wedding anniversary. We're going to be celebrating sticking with each other for 5 years, so happy 5-year anniversary to the both of us. So I didn't want to pick something up that might end up getting here while I'm away and just being no help to anyone, but I do think that it looks really cute. I forgot to talk about this last week, and I saw so many getting this in PR and people were loving this product. This is one of those that I kind of want to see it in store. I want to feel the consistency, I want to sniff them, I want to see if I like them. And the Milk Makeup Balmade Hydrating Tinted Lip Balms with Electrolytes. I don't know if Electrolytes does anything outside of the body. There are so many things that doesn't work scientifically the way that people say they work. Like drinking collagen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It doesn't work the way you think it works, and doesn't work the way they say it works either. Team science. And I feel like electrolytes in a lip product might be the same way. I don't know. I haven't looked into the science. Sometimes I do it myself. I look into the science. Sometimes I ask my husband because he has the whole like library available to him. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this doesn't work the way outside of the body as it does inside of the body. And sometimes brands have a tendency of just putting buzzwords on top of things to make things sound amazing. I mean, I don't even blame them at this point. It works. But the colors do look really interesting, and I do think they have a really nice smell to them. I feel like my friend Rachel Palmieri said that it had like a coconut banana scent, and I'm like, I love everything banana. Oh my god, speaking of banana, we have got to talk about the fact that Prada is releasing a banana balm. Is this banana scent? Oh my gosh. I am a clown, and if something has a banana scent, I am already adding it to cart. I'm at checkout, happy with my purchase. I love the scent of banana and the taste of artificial banana. It's everything I want. Prada lip balm is probably gonna be $50. Send help. When you're seeing this video, I probably already added this to my cart. I want to say I'm sorry, but am I? But this one is available now. I have seen it at Sephora. I just didn't know that it was banana. But now that I know that it's banana, I just don't know how I'm going to resist it. Do you have something like that? Do you have a scent that just gets you? That you see it and you're like, sold. I've seen what I needed to see. Sold. r.e.m. Beauty is releasing a full like capsule collection inspired by their most favorite shade of liquid eyeshadow, which is Fembot. So they are releasing a full collection on this, and I actually think that this is pretty smart. So they're doing a glow stick, a eyeshadow single, a plumping lip gloss, and a glossy balm, then together with the already existing liquid eyeshadow. And again, I think this is really smart because this is a shade that has been the shade that people have been agreeing on is the best like shade from them. It is like almost like a warm mauvey peachy base with a tealy mint shift. It's a very pretty shade, so I am excited to see them. I feel like a lot of brands do this. They have a shade that they become famous for, and then they just release even more things in this. Let's hope this doesn't become another Pillow Talk, Orgasm, Laguna. All brands have them. Dior is re-releasing their highlighter palettes. This is a new packaging, updated formula. This is the Dior Backstage Glow Face palettes. These are coming soon. I don't know if you've heard, but you are probably gonna see a lot of products getting reformulated in the upcoming, I want to say 2 years, but that is because the EU has decided that they are banning talc in makeup and beauty products, which is, according to me, very unfortunate because you definitely can do safe talc that doesn't have asbestos in it. But the process of assuring that it is might just be too cumbersome maybe, and the EU is just like, we're not even going to deal with this. I will say the EU has a different approach to passing laws and making restrictions than the US. The US usually says anything goes until there's a problem, and in the EU they do the opposite, where they're like, nothing goes until you can promise me it's 100% safe. It's just a different approach to it. Like, where is the burden of proving that something is safe versus not? And they just have a different view on it. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know. I will say talc is a ingredient that is amazing in makeup. It is your favorite setting powders. All the ones that have been reformulated that you now hate, it's because there's no longer talc in them. It is just a formulation that makes a lot of makeup, including eyeshadows, just perform better. And I think a lot of brands will now have to reformulate. So if you see some of your favorite products have less quality or become more expensive, this is the reason. A while ago, there was a lawsuit against, I think, Johnson & Johnson, because they had been using inferior talc that did have asbestos in it. And there were some other brands that got tested as well. And from what I remember, they did test a lot of other things that had talc, and they couldn't find it in anything else. So again, You can use safe talk. There is safe talk for sure. You can be very cautious on how you are sourcing your material. But I do think, again, that the EU is going with caution and not having to deal with it at all. And it is going to give us a whole new era of what we can expect from makeup, because it's gonna first, I think, give makeup products that you don't love as much as you used to love them. I said what I said. I said what I said, but I also think it's gonna push for innovation, because then brands, factories, labs, they are gonna want to, because now they need to really find an actual valid and acceptable alternative, something that is as high performing as that. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. I do feel like this will push for innovation, so I am like excited but also not about this. But I will say right now, the ingredients that they use to replace talc with is either not as good or more expensive. So that's where we are right now. I don't know if these palettes are the same price as they used to be before. I have no idea about that, or maybe it's less product in them. But usually something has to give. Speaking of powders, LYS is launching what they are calling a truly inclusive finishing powder. LYS is like a more mid-range brand that's available at Sephora. I have tried a few of their products and I like their concealer. I personally didn't like their cream bronzer stick. I know other people really loved it. I thought it was just too pigmented, and I thought that it just made my skin look a little 2016 in the way that I didn't want my skin to look. But I am intrigued to see what this is, because I have heard people describe this as giving the same finishing effect on your skin as an hourglass powder, but at a much more approachable price tag. And Fenty apparently is trying to do something for me. How very kind of you, Fenty. And they are releasing, this is an Ulta exclusive, this is an orange gloss. This is the Mango Margz lip luminizer, and it looks delicious. Do I need an orange shimmery gloss? I kind of want to look through my collection, because I feel like I have something like that, right? But because I have not been into sparkly lips for a really long time. I did discuss this in Thursday's video. I did a full face of new makeup, just trying out some new things. How recently I've changed my opinions on some things that I didn't like. Now I'm really into pink cheeks again, and I'm also really into more sparkly or shimmery lips, which I haven't been for a really long time. And I am wondering if I have an orange sparkly lip in my collection. I kind of want to go through and see, because I feel like that could be something very me for the summer, right? Also, if you're wondering about this lip gloss, I realized when I put this on, I'm actually wearing a lip gloss that is not revealed yet. This is from a collection from another brand that they're revealing next week. So if you like this smoky lip gloss, that is coming. We'll talk about that next week, but it's really pretty. I also briefly did touch on this one in Thursday's video, and this is the Vanilla Nectar hair and body spray by Phlur. They have been releasing a lot of hair and body sprays this year, and I will say this is probably my least favorite one from them. They did send me this one in PR, and I love the heavy cream one. The heavy cream one smells like if you made a creamer into a fragrance in the best way possible. And I love the vanilla smoke. It's like a sweet, it's almost like you're making a s'more and you're just literally lighting the whole marshmallow on fire. It is on fire, it is charred, it is dead. It is smoky. That's what it is. I love it. This one is giving me more traditional body spray. It is too sweet, it's syrupy, it's almost like fruit candy with a little bit of floral. If you think that sounds delicious, it's very sweet. It's very summery, but I think this is too sweet. This is, for me, something that's too generic and a little bit juvenile, so this is not for me. But I also, my taste in fragrances is definitely not for everyone. I love to smell like tomato leaves, a sophisticated piece of grass, and something that's literally been lit on fire. So there's that. Makeup Revolution is coming out with a Pout lip gloss stick, which I am assuming is their version of a shiny glossy lipstick that is not one of those click up sticks, which I usually do prefer. And I will say Makeup Revolution usually makes really, really good lip products. So if you were interested in something like this, maybe you didn't want to fork out the money for the version that comes from Fenty, for example, maybe try this one from Makeup Revolution. I did see that this one is available at Ulta already. And like I said, Makeup Revolution usually does lip products fairly good. Speaking of fragrances, this one, whoever is writing copyright over at Heretic, they need a raise, okay? They are describing the person I want to be. I aim to be this mysterious of a person. Introducing Black Salt, a scent for those who prefer their coastlines windswept and slightly haunted. Black Salt opens with a sharp, spectral flicker of lime, bright as a lightning over a storm-tossed sea. Eucalyptus follows, brisk and medicinal, like something dabbed on a wound no one speaks of. Again, a race. I think they need a car. I like a vacation. At its heart, black water lily, blooming somewhere deep and lightless, untouched by sun or sentiment. Seaweed drapes the base like morning lace, briny green and gently unsettling. It's the fragrance of shipwrecked letters, of foghorns heard from unmarked shores. Wear it when you want to be remembered, vaguely and with a shiver. I am getting goosebumps. This is so good. So I'm getting teary-eyed. This is so good. That sentence, wear it when you want to be remembered, vaguely and with a shiver. That sounds like something man-repellent, and if there's something I aspire to be on an everyday basis, it is slightly man-repellent, okay? I need to try this. I need to try this. Unsettling? This person listen, can you please come work for me? I need you in my life. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. I aspire to have this kind of description of my products in the future. The one that can give someone shivers. Genius. Before I get into talking a little bit about like the future of, well, this series and my channel and all of that, just a brief little thing at the end, I also wanted to touch on this update from Simply Posh Cosmetics. And they were posting this on their Instagram page, and they were basically saying, here are some thoughts behind the scenes and an update. And they were showing 3 palettes here. There were concepts that never made it into production. And they were also talking about the sentiment of that I have been talking about so much as well, that sometimes you can't just restock something. Because when you buy a palette, when you push something into production, there is a minimal threshold of how many products a company can make. And most of the time, you sell the most of a product when you launch it. And then it trickles out, and maybe you'll sell more at like a sale or something. But if your product sells out, it is incredibly unusual for it to sell as many units again in the restock. Even if you're like, oh, it's sold out 3 different times. Yeah, maybe they had 1,000 the first time, and then they had 500 the second time, and then maybe they had 500 the third time. Usually they don't sell out like 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. It's usually not how things work out. And every time you produce a smaller amount of palettes, the margins close in, because producing 1,000 palettes will cost you less per palette than producing 200 palettes. And sometimes people are like, oh, why don't they restock this product? There are so many people who are waiting for it. But so many people could be 50, which is just not enough. And Simply Posh Cosmetics were talking about this when they were saying that they have taken decision to not restock any of their sold out palettes, because they simply do not think that the demand of those sold out palettes meet the threshold of how many palettes they have to order to actually make a profit on it. And that's the thing. I think sometimes when people are like, why won't they restock? I want this palette so bad. I think sometimes people forget that for some of these products, to make a profit, you have to order thousands of something. And even if you see 10 other people in the comments also saying they really want this product back, that's still just 10 people. And maybe those 10 people represent 100 people, but 100 people is not 2,000 people. So every time a brand decides to do a restock, you are very seriously gambling with the idea that people are interested enough to buy, again, a big quantity of a product that is not new. Because even though people say they want to see old products, the numbers do not lie on social media. When you're doing a restock, when you're talking about products that are not new, people are just not as interested in things that are not new. So I think that this was very bold of them and very brave of them to just come out and say, listen, the numbers just are not adding up. We are not going to be restocking any of our old palettes. Let me read their exact words so I'm not like paraphrasing them, but they basically are saying what I'm saying. We have received requests to bring back older palettes, and we understand there are some of you who weren't aware of our brand until recently. Unfortunately, we had to make a tough choice and decide to not do any more restocks. When it comes to production on restock palettes, we still need to order a large amount of palettes in order to get production done. The majority of our customer base orders within the first launch, so for a restock, we realized only a very small percentage of the restock palettes sell, and we need to continuously decrease the price of our restock palettes in order for them to sell. As a small business, we need to be very mindful with what we put into production. We need to make sure that what we are producing is selling and moving in order to keep our business running. And I think this is again something that people forget, that these are small businesses, and everything that is in stock at a brand is money sitting on a shelf. Money tied up into products that is keeping brands from paying their bills, making big moves, hiring new people, doing new products. All of these things because they're sitting on a shelf. So doing a restock is something that a brand has to think about very, very carefully. And I hope that this makes sense. Okay, let me go back into the middle. And let's have a brief discussion about, oh my god, this sounds so ominous, but like, the future of my channel, but like briefly and a little lightheartedly. If you look at the title of this video, you will see that this is not the first time I'm doing this video. I have been doing this kind of video on my channel for what I think is like 8 years. I have been coming back pretty much every week, talking about the new makeup releases, chatting about the things that are releasing, chatting about the products, letting you know my thoughts, and you have been letting me know your thoughts. As this year has progressed, this specific type, overall, I will say people are not that interested in makeup products right now. I get that. Listen, the world is literally falling apart around us. I am not blaming anyone for needing to, like, you know, save their own sanity. But it takes me a really, really, really long time to produce these videos. And the past month, I would say, the views on this video has been lower than it has been in, like, I want to say like 6 years, which tells me a lot of people that used to watch this kind of a video is not interested in this anymore. Maybe not overall, maybe not for me. I think it's probably a 50-50 split. A big chunk of people are just not interested in makeup news right now. They're falling out of love with makeup, or the world is just too much right now and they can't deal with these kind of things. Again, I'm not blaming anyone. Listen, I'm kind of with you. The other half is probably sick of me, which is, again, fair. I'm sick of me sometimes too. You know, sometimes you fall in love with creators and sometimes you fall out of love with creators. But what I wanted to say is that I think for me, what has happened this last, like, I want to say 2 months maybe, is that I realized that I am putting a lot of work into these new makeup releases, and I need to reevaluate for myself as well if this is something that the majority of people still want to see on this channel. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you still love these videos? And if you do, liking a video, leaving a comment, sharing a video, if there's anything that you want to keep around, it really helps out a creator. You don't need to be like purchasing things or clicking on our links. Just leaving a like or leaving a comment is definitely all the support we need. Honestly, just watching a video is all the support we need. But again, if you're not interested, You shouldn't be doing that. You're not here to save anyone's like videos. If there's a change that you would like to see, would you like this to be another format? Would you prefer it to be once every 2 weeks, once a month? Would you prefer it to be short form content? Would you prefer me to do this in a different kind of way? Or are you just kind of over this series? Maybe you're watching another creator instead that you think is doing a better job with makeup news, which again, totally fair. I've been doing this same kind of format of videos for a really long time, and maybe it's time to shake it up. I just want to make sure, and I've said this with other videos too, that I am doing what people actually want to see. So I'm not spending a lot of time producing things that the majority of people are like, meh, I could take it or leave it. That's not the kind of creator I want to be. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Not like, oh yeah, please stop, because again, there are places you can be talking about that. Nobody needs to be rude and mean online, even though I know I'm speaking to deaf ears when I'm saying this. But I definitely know I'm not the only creator that is also feeling that maybe people are getting a little bit too bold online. Maybe everybody needs to calm down a little bit. So if you have any input on what you would like the series to be, and maybe you're just thinking this is a dip, maybe it's just because it's such a bad time right now, or maybe you are like, yes, this would be so interesting if you could maybe incorporate this perspective, or maybe if you could change it to this kind of thing. I would love to hear your thoughts. Again, keep it a little bit kind and respectful. We really, I don't know why I'm saying this, but there is a, creators call it the 100K curse. When a creator reaches 100K, all of a sudden you are like, it's just a free-for-all, and people think that you can just tell people whatever you want. And there are definitely days where I'm just like, what is even the point of all of this? So please, for the love of everything, keep it kind, keep it respectful. There are definitely places where you can not be kind and respectful. It doesn't have to be in my comments. Okay, can you tell I'm over it? Maybe it's because I've got my period today and I'm a little bit like hormonal, but like, let's try and keep it positive. The world is falling apart. We don't need to be mean to each other. I hope you're having a good day. I didn't want to like end this on like a downer, but I do actually, from the people that actually have been here for a while and that are interested in the makeup news, what would you like to see? If I don't get any like good suggestions that I think actually are like incorporable, what I probably will do is just do this video less. Once every 2 weeks, once a month, maybe something like that, and I can devote even more time into Singe, because Lord knows I definitely need to worry even more about that. But let me know what you think, because again, I cannot devote 2 full work days on something that is getting almost half the views as they used to. It just doesn't make it doesn't make sense for me time-wise. I hope you're having a great weekend. I am probably gonna be working this entire weekend, which honestly, I'm kind of excited about because I have so many new releases to dig into. Next week is like such exciting launches that are coming next week. I cannot wait to tell you all about it. And again, if you're new here and you want to see more makeup videos, I am a channel that still does videos mainly about makeup. Not makeup brands, not makeup owners, not makeup creators, just makeup, for the love of makeup. Please subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you on Monday for a new video.